Hi, my name is Wojtek, and today I'm going to show you how to track camera movement into 3D space. What does this mean? We want to take a pre-recorded video clip and track the camera movement used to film it. Why is this useful? By solving the geometry in 3D space, we are able to insert 3D objects into our video. There are a few ways and different software that can do this. We are going to use Adobe After Effects CS6. Version CS5 will work too, but earlier versions will not have camera tracking features. We'll start by changing our workspace. Go to Window, Workspace, Standard. This way both our workspaces are the same and you can follow along. Our next step is to import our video clip. You want to go to File, Import, and File again. Here you will choose the video clip you want to import and then click Open. However, I'm going to show you a different way of doing this. You can just drag and drop the file right into the Projects panel on the left. Then you want to grab that movie clip and drag it over to the right to the Composition panel. If you scroll your mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out. To pan around your footage, hold the space bar down while you move your mouse. At the bottom, you will see this green line. This is your video clip layer. We will use a few different layers in this tutorial. Directly above it is your timeline. You can adjust the position of your video clip using the timeline. By dragging this yellow indicator left and right, you can pick the position you would like to be in your timeline. To the top right, you have your preview panel. Here you can adjust settings like frame rate and resolution. It is very important to have a frame rate that matches your movie clip. Otherwise, your camera tracking will be off. You can also adjust the resolution for your preview. The preview is the one in the composition. Another handy feature is the RAM preview button. By clicking on this button, it will actually store the video clip into RAM memory, which will allow for better playback later. You can see it storing the video clip into memory by this green bar down here. Now when I grab the timeline indicator, it will provide a much smoother workflow. The preview will run smoothly. Also, if you hit the spacebar, it'll play the movie clip. Hitting it again will stop it. Let's get to the motion tracking. Let's go back to Window, Workspace, Motion Tracking. While working in After Effects, you can adjust any panel size. You can increase your layer size or your composition size. Let's select the composition. And now we can hit Track Camera. A pop-up message will show Analyzing in Background, Step 1 of 2. On the top left, it will show you how many frames it has completed and how many frames are left in total. It will also show you the time remaining. You can also click on Cancel at any time. Sometimes this process takes a while, depending on the speed of your computer and how big your video clip is. Going back to the panel on the left, we'll go through the options. Fixed angle of view, variable zoom, and specify angle of view. Fixed angle of view is when your camera is stationary, and variable zoom is when it's moving around. You can also specify your angle. The next option is 2D source and 3D solve. Usually you want to use 3D solve. By clicking on render track points, it will actually render all the tracking points into the video. This is the most important setting. You have typical, mostly flat scene, and tripod pan. Usually I leave it in auto detect, but depending on how you shot your video, you may want to change these options. Alright, let's get to the fun part. Here we have all our tracking points, and we also have a target. The purpose of the target is to define where the floor is for Adobe to understand where to place objects in 3D space. Now we're going to start selecting points. By selecting these points, we're defining exactly the angle of the surface that our 3D object is going to sit on. Now, if you find you didn't have a good track, you can always select points and delete them frame by frame. That way you're only left with the floor points. However, this track's pretty good, so I'm going to reselect all my points again. Now that I'm happy where my target is, I'm going to right click on Create Shadow Catcher, Light and Camera. What this does is it creates a 3D camera, a 3D plane for the shadows, and it also creates a light inside your scene. Now we're ready for export. Go to File, Export, Cinema 4D Exporter. We're going to name our file and hit Save. Now that we're done with After Effects, we want to save our After Effects project. We want to go to File, Save As. Okay, now let's open up Cinema 4D. This is actually a 3D rendering modeling program. We'll go to File, Open, and we're going to find the After Effects file we saved, but it actually saved it as a Cinema 4D file, which makes things a lot easier. As you can see, we already have a camera built in. And we also have our plane, which was our target. This tells us where the desk is. The path you're looking at is the path the computer calculated for the camera to follow. By clicking on the camera, I can now see what the camera sees inside the scene. Opening up the final project, now you can actually see how the geometry works. If I render the scene, I have my 3D object in the middle of it. Thank you for watching my tutorial. I'm going to leave you with the final output of this tutorial. It's not finished yet, but it gives you a pretty good idea of how awesome camera tracking can be.